Welcome to 30-Minute Worlds, a show where we create a fictional setting from prompt words in about 30 minutes. I'm Walter.
I'm Zach.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Belvin.
And this week it looks like I, Walter, am the lore lad, which means I get absolute creative control over the setting. They have to do whatever I say. They suggest prompt words to me and I get veto power over them. You know, that whole thing, you know.
The normal thing.
This is also the start of Season 3. It's been a while since we've graced your ears last, and I believe there were several parliamentary reforms that have been enacted in the world-building Congress since then. Chairman Belvin, if you would like to discuss.
Oh, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Okay.
Now, you
all
remember
right.
the commoners got the right to vote. The lad gained absolute power.
Didn't you read, what was it, 15 goddamn books on improv? Listen to 20 improv podcasts.
I was just thinking, wow, that's exactly what you don't do in improv.
No, he was deposed. He was actually deposed in the interim, and then we did bring him back because
It's true.
we needed a fourth person.
Yeah, we deposed Belvin by lore lad mandate, and then he wrote himself back in cunningly.
Well, Belvin lost the mandate of heaven, so...
Walter, ask me that question again.
I won't do that. I won't make the mistake of doing that.
The number one rule of comedy is never do anything twice.
Exactly. Do it three times. Which I won't do either. Again, we're going to change up the show format a little bit. We'll be picking the lore lad at the end of the episode, so they get a whole week to prepare. It also gives chessmen conveniently a whole week to pick a prompt word ahead of time, which will not be enough time, I can already predict.
Wait, were we supposed to have prompt words?
Yeah.
Yes.
We hired a data analyst, and he estimated a week for chessmen.
To think of one word.
Yeah. we paid that guy like $30,000.
Why a data analyst?
Because we argued over and over again about how long it would take you to come up with a word.
Because we were really curious who's the best character in Star Trek: The New Generation.
Oh.
I just wanted to learn how graphs work.
That was pretty good.
Different types of graphs, what they mean. Anyway, regardless, chessman, you're on the spot. What's the word? A week you've had.
A week? I've had more than a week. Well,
you've had more than a week.
How about table?
Table. Interesting. Dan, your thoughts in the form of one word.
Dan, the consummate professional.
We got Dan during the time when he's getting
left
soup.
to attend to his soup. He has left.
Well, this entire
nightmare.
Is that your word? Nightmare 3 times?
That might have been a good prompt, but it wasn't the one that I thought of, no.
What's the one you're thinking of?
Surveillance.
Surveillance. Belbio.
Manor. Manor.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
a princely
manor,
estate.
An estate or a manor with a table where surveillance features heavily.
But your word was table?
His word was table.
There's different kinds of tables, Dan.
I table this argument.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, there are different kinds of tables. There is ending something, and there is a literal table, right?
There's a water table.
No. I've been told there is.
A table of elements.
Table of contents.
Table of contents.
Yeah, all of these are much more exciting than I first thought.
Let's go with the least exciting one. What if there's a desk in this manor that surveys you?
Spies on you?
It's a spy table.
Just take the most literal interpretation of the words.
I'm here for this.
I don't know.
Why would you want to use this table if it spies on you?
What if it spies on other people?
Yeah, okay.
You know, maybe we flip it so that it's useful and not useless.
not just a voyeuristic table, which it's a different. I guess it's a manor, you know.
It's now it is a voyeuristic table.
Okay, so we're basically...
Well, it's a question of being a professional or just doing it for your enjoyment.
We got a scrying table.
A scrying table.
In a manor.
That is kind of the talk of this whole town.
Yeah, maybe people are invited over for dinner parties and they get to eat on the scrying table.
Yeah, it was brought in from someplace. And, you know, the owner of the manor, they're pretty like eccentric and spend hours and hours holed up with that table in there. Night in, night out.
Well, but so then there must be some limitation to how it can scry that would not make people instantly like very suspicious of this person and like do a witch hunt, because that the reason spies are secret is because people don't want their secrets to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm just thinking at the dinner parties, maybe you don't see like specific information. Maybe it comes out more impressionistic.
Maybe. Does the table have to be in proximity to you?
Yeah. Well,
To
Belvin
spy
said
on you?
scrying table, so I actually think it's more interesting if it doesn't have to be in direct proximity. It could be something that people pay to use to spy on people.
I kind of like, because all these words are kind of, well, two of the words call to mind like actually like a small town.
Mm-hmm.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
What if once you are in the vicinity of the table, it kind of picks you up? Maybe it steals a sliver of your soul or something. From then on, it can like track you, it can scry you.
Oh, so inviting people over is just a pretext to get more and more newcomers
Yeah.
under the thrall of this fucking table.
Yeah, if we
and
wanna
it's Master, who we should talk about, I think.
Okay. Yeah, who's the lord
What
of
if his
this
name was
manor? Or the
Tablerone.
Maybe the old master of the manor died and his son came back from abroad with this mystical table that he invites people to dinner at, and he's using it to spy on the townspeople.
Well, the table's in a locked room. It's not in the dinner.
Well, how
it's
do you
like-
sit people at it to steal their souls?
Yeah, I think it's in
you
the
have to,
dining room.
I thought you had to be kind of near it.
I think it's cooler if people just like straight up eat on
Like
it.
if you just enter the threshold of the house.
Well, then why is it a table?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah,
that
that's
makes,
the thing. It has to
Yeah.
act like a table and not a magic mirror.
I guess I imagined it more like a writing desk where you sit at it and you kind of see shit.
I think it's cooler if it's like used like a table a lot. So
Yeah, I think if you're using it to scry, like as the instrument of it, it needs to be like a writing desk. But if you're using it to like bring people to it to spy, like to make them like eligible to be spied upon, it needs to be like a dinner table. It's like in a dining room.
I like that. And what if the scrying power of the table, it kind of wanes over time unless that person's brought back? So you need to have these repeated sort of festivities in order to keep people.
maybe.
No, I like
mean,
that idea. I like the idea of like the lord of the manor has to keep inviting, like, I don't know, the banker in town over, even though he despises him, because
Yeah,
he's
even though he hates all these people, he needs to know what they're doing.
spying on all the doings of the town.
That's cool.
I have an idea for what's like behind this magic.
Yeah.
We
What
can
is
only
it?
get
Is
to
it an
that.
animal of some kind?
No, I think I think the foreign land that it gets from has basically like a soul wood, a magic wood that, like I said, kind of picks up slivers of souls and does magic things with them. And the reason that this guy got this table is because there is an empire that's kind of died out, but is looking to resuscitate itself. And the way it's going to do that is by spreading these magical objects all around, gathering up slivers of people's souls with rewards along the way for people using them.
And then the Empire Repo men come take your table and then they're back in business?
Well,
Maybe the lord is an agent.
they can do something with all those slivers of souls, or like all those people who are
I
indentured.
think it'd be cool if that were rumored, to be happening. There's a lot of like xenophobia and paranoia surrounding this guy.
Well, so I don't know how much of a character we want to make the aristocrat of the Lord of the Manor, but what if he is an agent of this empire that brought this table here to make, like, prepare the town to be taken over or something like that?
Oh yeah, I like it. I do like it if it's deliberate.
So
Yeah.
it's less a town and more of a city. It's a place of value.
If you want to dip into like this genre, I don't know what you call this genre, maybe Gothic, I have no idea. Of like you could
It's a comedy of manners with a magical table and an espionage sub.
Yes,
he pulled. I just peeked because
like
I
as you
just-
like it.
It rock
peaked, I
hard.
No, maybe it's not. He's not an agent. Maybe his like mistress is an agent or whatever.
yes.
Or like he married somebody while he was out.
Oh, she decorated the dining room.
That's
Brought the
playing
table in.
into a lot of tropes.
Yeah,
but
let's make it a man that he married. Now it's not true.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now there's less women in the city.
I fixed this.
If that makes you mad, listener, well, it's 2021, so you can fuck off. That's right,
man.
It's
You
a
can't
game,
win.
Lord. It's fine.
And the hero's a woman.
So him and his husband have this table, and they're from. Let's talk about the city too a little bit and why this table. First of all, how do people know this table is fucking magic? Because it's not like he would want to spread word about it.
I think when you look at it, it kind of gives you like vague impressionistic, like facets of yourself. Maybe like maybe it's like you, or maybe it's something that's important to you, and only you can see it. Just like kind of a parlor trick type thing.
Yeah.
Could it be like gold, like scroll work or like leaf work that animates and like it like kind of relays a story to you almost?
Maybe.
Maybe, but I was more thinking like, who did his husband fucking tell? Who was the leak originally that now people know?
Oh, I think it's intentional.
hold on.
He wants
Yeah.
people to
Hold on.
come.
Here's the thing. You don't have to leak that the table's true purpose. You just have to leak that it is somehow connected to the fantastic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if it has soul shards in it, maybe they hold seances around the table. Like,
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
there's one of
I
these.
see,
This
I
is
see.
a classic thing where like somebody claims that they brought back something from the East or whatever, and then they
Yeah, Lord Blakely married Aleister Crowley, and he has this very nice table.
Yeah. So everybody thinks that it is it's a table that lets you talk to ghosts. They don't realize that ghosts are inside of us. That we are ghosts.
Very good.
That's
What I enumerate on
That's kind of weird.
this.
Ghost in the shell.
business show.
So we have this character, the Baron, right? Who he's kind of the antagonist of this setting, and he's making a lot of things in the city. He's starting to get control of the reins because he knows the secrets of all the society people.
Yeah, he can blackmail everybody.
And the party, or it's kind of a save our city kind of environment where things are taking a turn for the worse, and this one guy's amassing untold influence and power. Maybe there's like a magistrate who is basically like he's in the Baron's pocket because the Baron's found out about his affair, and now the Baron's like practically above the law of the land, even though he's kind of a foreigner.
Right.
I mean, anybody with that sort of information, ability to track it, would be able to use it. I mean, if they can't just openly move against him, which there would need to be a reason for that, beyond just...
Right. He's the kind of guy where a stranger comes into town and like interacts with him, and then somebody comes up to him and is like, don't you know who that is?
Exactly. And that's how he gets a lot of people too, is he gets people who are from out of town, and he's kind of a big figure in the city. He's like, you should come to my like party. And they're staying like a night or two in the city. But people who've been in the city long enough know that the city's being immiserated because of him.
So thinking about his husband, Broly.
Please, God,
We're gonna-
don't call him Broly.
We're going to like take away your power to name things. 15 improv books, and you can't
Alistair
do anything
Broly.
except say
Dragon Ball Z references are the height of comedy. I don't know what you're talking about. You see
Chip.
YouTube?
I'm just thinking.
Chip Dixworth.
I mean, I
Okay, Belvin's is better than Chip Dixworth.
want to bring in the larger world, you know?
I kind of want to have a whiff of the outside, you know.
So you talked about the city being on the downturn to begin with. Well, what if this, maybe it's like it has a sister city that recently fell to this foreign power that he is acting as an agent on behalf of. And so the mood in the city is kind of dire, but the nobles are basically coping with dinner parties and luxury and such things. Yeah.
Here's a good idea, because I love sister cities, but you know what I love even more? Twin cities, like East Berlin, West Berlin, St. Paul, Minneapolis, cities that are right adjacent to each other, but for some reason are separate.
Right.
Maybe it's the furthest extent of the empire that he hails from, and he's entertaining people here. Meanwhile, he has a government across the river or whatever, across the DMZ
Right.
in the next door city, backing him up. So he has, not only does he have influence, he also has like an escape route. So he's a very tricky kind of person to even like interact with.
So he is a spy.
He is a spy, yeah, and he's using this table and their love of parties and comedy of manners bullshit.
Can you stop saying comedy of manners?
No.
It's a sort of Mask of the Red Death deal, but it's like a city under like not occupation but division.
Yeah. Well,
because of one man.
Is there any other way that this conflict is like being externalized between the two cities? Like there has to be something. Like,
I mean, I guess we have to pin down like why it is. I mean, we know that the Empire has designs on it, but like who is occupying each half of the city?
And what are the other uses of the soul wood? If it's being carted in from the Empire, right, Belvin?
Mm-hmm.
It's surely coming into play more and more in this city over which the Empire is exerting all this control.
Yeah,
right?
I think there'd be other objects as well. Like maybe stockades. Like maybe a lot of the prisoner elements who are putting stockades in the public square a lot. And they bring in new stockades that are made of this soul wood. So they now have their soul hooks into all these criminals.
And who negotiated that contract? The Baron.
The Baron.
Of course. He's got his hands everywhere. His dirty fucking hands. In this, what if his manor is kind of in the, I guess it wouldn't make sense if it's in the Empire part of the city. You would kind of want it to be in the more appealing part. The West Berlin, if you will.
Yeah, okay. Well, if we want to really push the West Berlin, East Berlin thing, and this makes sense with how we've set up the Baron's town, you have like this very aristocratic city, right? Like maybe this is a capital, or maybe this is just like in the same area as the capital, but all the like ruling class live there.
A city of some history and grace, yeah.
Like maybe it's like, DC kind of has a borough where, all the rich people live.
Exactly right.
Where you live, right?
No. I wish. No.
And then the other side, the edges of the Empire, it's like really decrepit at this point. The Empire is basically falling apart. It's real dissolution of USSR hours. Like doesn't even feel unified. But the warlocks who secretly ran the show are still trying to keep the show going.
What if they, to kind of commodify it and make this wood really special, what if the wood is like, that makes sense why there's only like one table too, is what if the wood's very rare? Or the process...
I think it needs to be created. Like...
Yeah, the process for instilling wood with this power...
What if it has to be grown in graveyards?
Yeah,
I was just thinking that.
Or come through great loss.
The Empire is waging war throughout the world to conquest things, and they have on battlefields grow these groves of trees to harvest the wood.
Yeah, maybe this is the last of what they have left. And they're like just strategically
they have
placed
limited,
They have
limited stock and store.
Yeah.
And why is this one city that's really on the periphery of their empire, or their fallen empire, why is it important to them?
Because it's the gateway. This whole setup is important to them, where
that's true.
They're harvesting souls to basically get a foothold in this other nation.
Mm-hmm.
This other, probably much smaller nation.
Yeah,
it could be like the port to it could be like Lisbon in Portugal or something. It could be the port to a new world or something that they have designs on.
Lisbon.
It's Portugal. Yeah.
Hey, what if they don't have any any warm water ports?
We Afghanistan.
Stealing from real history to the point where, all right.
It's a good motivator. We can't do commerce, and we can't go to war on the water because we don't have any warm water ports.
That would be funny, actually, if they were like a vast Southlands kind of empire, and the sea is to the north, and they're kind of hemmed in by periphery countries on the south, and this city is a fantastic port city, at least the half that they're not in.
It could be. I mean, I think they could have all kinds of motivations to want to take over a super wealthy town, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So let's talk some more about some of the other characters, because this is kind of an adventure, I would think, and less of a whole world that we've built.
Well, it's not a whole world, but it's a whole city.
It's a whole city, and it hints at a world. So we can talk about districts of the city. We can talk about some of the characters they could interact with. What are we thinking here?
Well, does the Baron have a foil? Is there somebody
like a comic foil?
No, it could be like a.
I think it's
burger,
his
like the mayor.
foil is like the least appealing. Person who's like noble but has never been invited to any party, and now he's like, I knew it. So he's actually kind of this repugnant figure,
like a recluse.
He's a lout. Yeah, he's kind of not a recluse, or a recluse, sure.
Well, if he's not going, it's a question of, is he not going to parties because he doesn't want to, or because he's not invited?
I think he's not invited because he's kind of boorish and like slovenly, and he technically does have a title of nobility, but people don't want to hang out with.
Humphrey Bogart kind of like he's off-putting,
an
he's
outside man,
but damn it, he's clever, he's sharp.
He's old money, right? He's old money and he has a lot of connections, but just the Baron can't stand him.
And the Baron can't stand him. Furthermore, he's tried to invite this guy once he realized this guy was catching on, but now this guy says no. Yeah. So this guy cannot be spied on.
This guy hates parties. Hates parties.
Oh, is he?
Well, he would have liked to have been invited at first, but
is this Ebenezer Scrooge? Is this Scrooge?
Yeah,
he's kind of a miserly kind of.
I think he should be Scrooge, and he says, "Bumbug," but he's being homophobic when he says that.
Bumbug Scrooge.
Why would he be?
That's his name.
Okay.
So we have the Baron's immediate rival, right? Who's kind of this crank who the party can rendezvous with.
I like the idea. There could be a sort of maybe an ex-member of the constabulary who was invited to one of these parties. The Baron learned a secret about him and basically used it to engineer his fall from grace. Like he blackmailed him or like outed him basically in some way. Like maybe I don't know if he was taking money on the side or something, but he is no longer in a position of authority, but sort of knows the city well.
Okay. And the Baron has installed some new chick, let's say, into the position. Or he's recommended some new chick into the position who, thanks to the Baron's connections, pretty much assuredly got the job. And now it's implied that the city guard or constabulary are taking orders from this one guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's why he would engineer that, is to put a crony in place, basically.
What is the constabulary, the old... the fallen constabulary? What is he doing
funny
now?
Hats should they wear?
Tricorn.
He's a haberdasher. That's great, actually.
Who is?
The fallen constabulary.
No, because he's like, he had a job before and it wasn't haberdashery. He was being a cop.
Everybody has jobs before they lose their jobs and then they need another job.
What if his brother was a haberdasher and now he works in the haberdashery and he's very unsatisfied with his new position?
Yeah, he's terrible at it.
I do think for any swashbuckling or intrigue setting, the guards have to have really elaborate hats of some kind.
Pentacorner hats. It's not 3 tricorn, it's 5
I actually think a pentacorn hat could be done.
It'd be pretty good.
Could be.
No, I think there's a Brandon Sanderson character who wears one.
Oh, well, then we can't do that.
Septihorn?
Well,
not since Walt name dropped it.
Now we can. What could be interesting? Just thinking how, just with the scrying ability of the table, the Baron is amassing all this power. Like maybe the Empire Warlocks kind of feel edged out. Like they have this big plot, but at this point, the Baron is almost a threat to them.
Oh, yeah.
They can still cash in their soul chips, basically, which we haven't established what that does.
It's an interesting idea that, like, the spell casting class is in decline because you can make tools that do it and you don't have to constantly, like give them positions of authority and power. Like, maybe they found a way to grow, some class found a way to grow this wood that they can use to shape items that are useful.
You know what's interesting too in cities like this is having a vigilante as well, stirring shit up.
Is this the same person as the constabulary? Or
it could be. Or it could be implied that they work for the Baron. They could be kind of a nebulous persona, but another person to investigate and figure out what the hell's up with them.
The vigilante works for the Baron?
He could.
Huh.
It could all be an op.
I like the idea that the public perception in the city is that he's just sort of working his own angle. Like, because I don't know. I mean, I guess that could be the rumor, but like, I'm not sure I actually want the vigilante to be working for the Baron.
Yeah, actually, I like vigilantism. I think that they should not work for this Dick Baron.
Oh, vigilante could be a common man.
Yeah.
Common woman.
Or maybe portrays themselves as a common person, but is one of the people who would actually be getting invited. Oh, but that's tricky.
I think it makes sense. No, I think it makes sense if a vigilante worked for the Baron, actually, because they could have been operating before the Baron set up there and attended one of his parties, and now he knows who they are. And the threat of revealing a vigilante's identity can actually cause them to, like, maybe he's in it more for the glory.
Wait, so this vigilante is fighting who?
Common criminals, that kind of thing.
Yeah, there's Batman? Okay.
Wait.
I don't know. Listen.
No, that's an interesting idea, though, is that this crime-fighting figure is being blackmailed into working to advance the Baron's schemes in the city.
And maybe the players initially approach him as kind of an ally. They're like, oh, we'll seek out the White Star or whatever. And then he's like, you should have talked to the Baron. He would help you.
Yeah. Is the Baron have him like is the White Star under the Baron's thumb? Like,
maybe. I think that's a neat angle if the vigilante is kind of like he's kind of a heel where you originally think he's on your side and then he turns out that he has his own motives.
Yeah.
So like the Baron has his crony in the constabulary as his like enforcer, basically, and then he has the vigilante as like the means by which he delivers his blackmail and moves surreptitiously.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So the vigilante is also like an agent.
Someone has to
Melvin,
leave all those threatening letters on the desk at
Let's
the dead
talk
of night.
more about this soul wood that you've come up with here.
Yeah.
I know you're into that.
Yeah, I just like the idea of all these different items kind of subtly drawing all these strings, summoning up all these connections and influences on behalf of the warlocks.
What happens when a little piece of your soul goes away, or several little pieces? How do you notice it? Do you notice it?
I think you don't. I think basically it just is a vulnerability. Like now you can kind of be controlled to a certain extent because someone has that piece of you.
maybe if you're a sensitive, if you're like what these older magicians.
Yeah, I guess it could be perceptible depending on who you are, but most people wouldn't notice because they're not connected with that part of themselves anyway.
Right.
Right.
Controlled in what way? Obviously, if they're surveilling you, they can control you just by learning your habits and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was kind of getting at, where like maybe the Baron, like the idea is he just has this magical item and he has that so the Empire can gather up all these souls because he's incentivized to gather up all these souls. But he's amassed so much power because he's such a savvy son of a gun, that the Empire that's decrepit and just a few old warlocks at this point trying to reclaim their glory, I feel like they can't even take the city anymore because the Baron has too much control.
Because he's pulling so many strings there that they feel like they're being double-crossed themselves. I like that element too. It's possible the players could find help from within the other city. Yeah,
well, what's interesting is that the players could like kind of have to choose between siding with the Empire or the Baron. Like those are kind of the major factions, which sucks. But
the unspoken third faction is the Scrooge
right,
guy.
The Scrooge is always there.
So there's three ways to play.
And I like the idea, too, of the arbiter of the independent route, which is what people usually like to go so much for in different things, is like this unlikable, shitty guy.
Yeah, I like that, too, where he's kind of this guy who's like, man, I don't want to hang out with him.
You suck. The power that the Empire has amassed could come from the stockades they managed to put in. Like maybe their army is a lot of ne'er-do-wells who are like Stephen King style being harnessed.
Oh, so like you spend time in the stockades and they literally gain the ability to order you around, control you. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Wait, really?
Yeah, like puppets.
Yeah, the more of
okay.
someone's soul that you take away, the more suggestible they become if you have that part of their soul.
Mm.
That's why people stop kind of refusing his invitations to dinner parties too. Is he can kind of impress, even if people know the Baron's up to no good. He still has tremendous social following there because he can kind of enthrall people to a certain degree. He has like a vampiric influence, you know,
He's
glamour.
He's got music that's just not. It's not mainstream stuff. He's got UV posters. He does yoga.
Well, I very much like the idea of different magical items made of this soulwood that do different things. Like maybe there could be a coffin made out of soulwood that if you place a dead body in, it gives it like a limited like resurrection.
Yeah, that's like,
Oh, interesting. And it can tell its secrets to you.
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think it really brings it back from the life. Maybe you could talk to the dead.
Right, but you can speak. I like that a lot. I like the magic in this setting being used primarily to
the information.
advance worldly, like gather worldly power.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You could have like a wooden, like a music box that when you play it, it like enthralls people. Basically, not in like it puts them into like a stupor, like a daze.
You would have to make a music box for somebody, or like maybe it does enchant people, but if you have a shard of their soul in the music box, it like
you can make it custom. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a bread box where if you just put an organic matter of the right size, it'll turn to bread if you close the lid on it.
Yeah, it cannot be bigger than a bread box.
I like that idea if it's used to get rid of incriminating
people put like
evidence, like a murder weapon.
in there.
You put a knife in the bread box, it becomes a quiche.
And now it's bread.
I think it would be funny if a lot of these items are stored, or at least had been stored at one point at the Baron's Manor, right? Because he's kind of the entry point for the Empire here.
Right, maybe the Baron.
City.
Maybe the Baron had a lot and lost some. I don't know.
He brought a lot.
It's kind of
with
more
him,
interesting if they like go off different places, you know. So I'm trying to think of how that.
That's true. That's true.
What if there was a burglary that when he was not yet established, and a lot of his inventory maybe made it out into the city?
Yeah, I like that
just
idea.
Like weird shit has been going on in this town that's already sort of nervous because the Empire is looming over them.
Yeah, and I like that too because they can start out not knowing really about the Baron. Mm-hmm. And they can start out investigating a bunch of shit. Like, we had this guy for murder, and we had the murder weapon, but now it's gone, and we don't know where it is. Or, you know, investigating trouble happening around town, and resolving that, come to see the scope of what's actually happening.
Right.
And eventually be able to employ those items for your own uses.
Yeah, for your own nefarious piece of shit uses.
So this is essentially like a weird science sort of paranormal investigation campaign.
What is it with you and weird science?
Because I've been reading Savage Worlds.
Okay.
I've been.
No, it's cool. It's a city on the brink of war that's been divided into different pieces where shadowy figures are at play to gain control of it.
Great game shit.
Yeah, there's magic items that have like thrown all the power dynamics into confusion. It's cool. I like
Desperate old warlocks who are trying to get you to help them.
Right.
Okay, our listeners, never side with the warlocks. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't fucking do it.
Come closer.
No, they suck. Don't do it.
This, I think we're at a good place to kick back, right?
Oh, I think we
kind
found
of a
it.
retrospective.
Yeah.
I think we found a comfortable setting here, and I really like it.
When this gets released as a Dungeons and Dragons Adventure Pass, do not side with the warlocks.
This might be the first adventure we've ever done that's explicitly. We typically build worlds on here.
The Sunlit Seas one, or Sunlit Skies.
Oh, that one kind of did have one.
Sunlit
pretty
Yeah.
explicitly.
Sails.
Sunlit
Sales.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sales.
But I do agree with you. It's definitely one of the most AP sort of campaigns we've done, or settings we've done.
I think, too, that city building is so much more fun than world building a lot of the time. I mean, when you look at like Discworld, half of Terry Pratchett's novels for Discworld are set in that one city of Ankh-Morpork.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
You get to actually develop places. Like, it's less of a theme park, I guess.
you're right. And I think city building usually feels so much more real to people because we're in a primarily urban age. But anyway,
Well,
that's
cities
just
are
me.
dense. You get to interact with more people and
Yeah.
more varied places and things. Most places are empty. Like, there's nobody for miles. So,
Well, this has been 30-Minute Worlds. I've actually just rolled a dice now to determine who the lore lad will be for next week.
you roll the dice.
I did. Are you ready to hear? You ready to hear who it is?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Chessman, it's you. I
Oh,
rolled a
God.
1. Yeah, it's
Now you have 2 weeks to think of a prompt word.
now you
1
can't
week.
miss the next episode.
It's only 1 week.
It is.
Yeah, but
you have 5 weeks.
I have 7 weeks.
And that's how long it took. Listeners,
Ooh.
you have no idea the hell we went through trying to get that last ep published. The censors, the government.
They didn't want it to come out. And actually, with a view to that, I guess we don't technically have a plan yet for when or how the revisit is going to come out, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, folks, that's our show. If you like this episode, you can subscribe to us on your podcasting service of choice to get new episodes every Saturday. If you like, go ahead and write us a review on iTunes or Spotify and share us with all your world-building friends. It's a big help to us. Our art is courtesy of the talented and wonderful Shell Tor at Jovial Paradox on Twitter. You can tweet at us too at LoreLads or send us spirited hate mail at 30minuteworlds@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy world building. Three, two, one. Welcome to 30-Minute Worlds, a show where we create a fictional setting from prompt words in around about probably 30 minutes of time, I would say. I'm Walter.
Hey, okay, we need to do that again because you didn't read the script.
How can we fuck it up? It's so simple.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm Chessman.
What?
And I'm Dan.
Can we start over?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're starting over now. We are, actually. All right.
3, 2, 1.
No, you don't need to clap again.
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Well,
You Pavlov dogs me.
I knew we couldn't do a simple thing. I knew we could not do a simple read. Welcome to 30-Minute Worlds, a show where we create a fictional setting from prompt words in about 30 minutes. I'm Walter.
I'm Dan.
Damn it, Dan!
At this point, this is the funnier bit, I think.
No, it's actually
Oh.
not. Especially because I foretold this exact thing would happen.
Well, if you want the opening read to be different, you should tell me what the opening read should be.
You
since you're the
motherfucker.
lore
Okay.
lad.
Welcome to 30-Minute Worlds, a show where we create a fictional setting from prompt words. About 30 minutes.